I spent the last 30 days studying One Piece and I found 10 One Piece fan theories that actually came true. For example, in chapter 907, something completely unexpected happened, which was Shanks having a meeting with the Gorosei, and this left everyone completely shocked and confused, as no one could figure out why Shanks, one of the most loved characters in One Piece and a pirate, was meeting with the leaders of the world government. And so the theory was born that Shanks is actually a celestial dragon. People from all over the world started putting the pieces together. Fans noticed that way back in the God Valley incident, the celestial dragons were confirmed to be present on the island. And when Garp and Roger defeated the Rocks pirates, a child was somehow left behind and Roger ended up raising that child. And if you were to match the date of the incident to Shanks' age, you would find that Shanks was a baby, around 1 year at the time. Another point people realized was that high-ranking world government officials kept giving Shanks special privileges. Like when he met with the 5 elders, they only agreed because it was Shanks, saying only because it's you. And all of this made no sense, as why would the world government, well, give anything to Shanks, who is a pirate? Why would Shanks, well, be able to do any of these things unless he comes from a special bloodline or family that are the world's nobles? And then in a special booklet of the One Piece movie film Red, written by Oda himself, there's a line from the movie in which the 5 elders say that Shanks belongs to the Figureland family, confirming the just crazy theory that Shanks is indeed a celestial dragon who is raised as a child by Goldie Roger. Number 9. Sanji is a royal prince. Now this theory was born all the way back in Alabasta, where Sanji willingly used the alias Mr. Prince, and fans thought of it as quite odd as to why he would do that and began theorizing. They noticed that Sanji seems to be from a special background, the way he presents himself, as he's always dressed nicely and follows the typical stereotypes of a prince by not only simping over women, but princesses as well, further adding to this theory. Fans also noticed that all they know about Sanji is that he wanted to be a chef. What they didn't know was who is Sanji's parents, as Sanji never spoke of his parents being alive or dead. He just ran away from home in order to fulfill his dream. Sanji was not also born in the East Blue, but in the North Blue, which is weird, as how is some random 9-year-old kid able to run away and get from the North Blue to the East Blue without the help of powerful people, which you would have if you were of course royalty. And there is a royal kingdom called Lindell Kingdom, which is in the North Blue, in which Nolan and his stories were based off. Fans speculated that Sanji could have possibly been related to that kingdom, as that's where he was born, in the North Blue. And then once the Straw Hats gained more publicity, Sanji's bounty poster went from captured dead or alive to just captured alive, possibly meaning that Sanji's royal family wanted Sanji to return after he ran away. And then in chapter 832, Sanji was confirmed to be a member of the Vinsmoke family, making the theory that Sanji is a royal prince actually correct, as the Vinsmoke family rule over the Germa kingdom. Number 8. Lola is the daughter of Big Mom. Now this theory started all the way back in Thriller Bark, where we met Lola for the first time, and Lola just outright says that her mother is an extremely powerful pirate, and even gave the Straw Hats her Viva card, and this sparked a ton of discussion in the community, and theories started flooding in as people wanted to know, well, who is Lola's mother? Some fans even thought that she was the daughter of Miss Buckingham Stussy, due to the resemblance between her and Edward Weevil, but the more popular theory was that Lola's mother was actually Big Mom, as she met all the criteria for being a powerful pirate. But it also just made way more sense, as the Straw Hats were kinda bound to meet Big Mom in the future anyway, making Lola's Viva card, well, just more relevant. And the final piece of evidence was the striking resemblance between Lola and Big Mom, and the Big Mom pirates in general, as Big Mom's Jolly Roger had the same lips and hair color as Lola. And this theory came true in chapter 835, as Lola was confirmed to be the daughter of Big Mom. Number 7. Buggy will become an Emperor of the Sea. This theory started almost 10 years ago when Buggy became a warlord, as fans had already been theorizing that he would become a warlord, and so they took this theory to a new level by speculating that Buggy will become an Emperor of the Sea. The idea behind this theory is that if you didn't know Buggy personally, his feats were like incredible. God tier, if you would. He sailed with the king of the pirates, broke out of the world's most dangerous prison with a new army ready to die for him, then teamed up with Whitebeard at the War of the Best, and then was seen intimidating Shanks in Marineford. Fans believed that once Luffy took down Kaido or Big Mom, there would be a temporary gap in power, and Buggy will rise up, take their spot and their underlings, and rule over their land as a Yonko. And between his incredible luck but also his reputation, fans genuinely believed it could be possible, as he's done things like this in the past. And this crazy theory came true in chapter 1053, where Buggy was not only confirmed to be an Emperor of the Sea along with Shanks, Luffy and Blackbeard, but he also has Hawkeye and Crocodile by his side. And just how far is Buggy going to go? It's honestly not too crazy to think that Buggy could become the king of the pirates. Number 6. Green Bull's abilities. Now this short but sweet theory happened when Green Bull met with Fujitora in Marie Joie, when he stated that eating is really boring, I haven't eaten in years, and this statement shocked fans, with some believing that it's foreshadowing for Green Bull potentially being a samurai from the land of Wano, as it's well known that samurais are never hungry, with other fans noticing that most admirals, with the exception of Fujitora, all had Logia devil fruits, and came up with the idea that Green Bull possessed a plant flower type Logia devil fruit. And then this theory came true in chapter 1054, when it was revealed that Green Bull possesses the forest fruit, or the Mori Mori no Mi. Number 5. Sabo is alive. This theory started after Marineford, where it was revealed that along with Ace, Luffy had another brother, Sabo, who was apparently killed by a celestial dragon when he was younger. And due to Oda leaving loads of hints across cover pages for fans to find, they started to theorize that Sabo was indeed alive. But what fans couldn't figure out is to why Sabo didn't show himself. If he was alive, why haven't we heard about him, or why didn't he show up to save Ace at Marineford? And during a flashback in chapter 589, we see Dragon returning to his ship carrying an unknown and injured person, leading many fans to speculate that the person he was holding was none other than Sabo, with some fans even managing to guess that Sabo lost his memories in the incident, completely forgetting about his childhood and about Luffy and Ace. And then this theory was eventually confirmed to be true in chapter 731, where Luffy meets Sabo in Dressrosa. Number 4. There is someone above the Gorosei. Now this theory may just be the craziest theory fans have ever come up with. As far as anyone knew, the 5 elders or the Gorosei were at the very top of the world government, and they operated like sort of a small government. Until it was revealed that there is an empty throne in Marie Joie, leading to a small number of fans to believe that there is a present ruler of the world, while most fans believed that it was just an old chair belonging to a ruler centuries ago, or a symbol of strength made by the world government to express their power. Some people even believed that it was a chair that belonged to the king of the pirates, although I really couldn't find too much about that theory. But the main piece of evidence fans had was that in One Piece there isn't a final villain to defeat. Sure, there's villains, but none that you could call a final villain that Luffy would defeat towards the end of the show, ending the story. So fans started putting the pieces together and realized that maybe there is a secret ruler from the ancient kingdom who had gone through the immortality surgery done by the Op fruit, as after all the world government were prepared to pay 3 billion berries for that devil fruit, which is the same bounty that they gave Luffy when he became the literal sun god, so it must have some importance, right? And part of this theory was confirmed to be true in chapter 908, where we see a mysterious black entity sit on the empty throne with all 5 of the Gorosei bow down at its service. Pretty crazy if you ask me. Number 3. Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. Now this theory originated back in Fishman Island, when Luffy took down 50,000 fishmen with his Conqueror's Haki. Zoro made a statement after saying that if Luffy didn't have Conqueror's Haki, he couldn't be his captain. And this comment sparked the theory that Zoro has Conqueror's Haki himself. Fans realized that Conqueror's Haki signifies the ability to stand above others as a king or as a conqueror, and Zoro is a prime example. There was countless times where people were shocked and astonished to find out that Zoro wasn't the captain of the Straw Hats. And back in Alabasta, Zoro even refused to join Brokeworks unless they made him his leader, which if you ask me is the direct quality of a king or a conqueror. Another piece of evidence fans had was the parallel between Zoro and Rayleigh, and since if Rayleigh possessed Conqueror's Haki, it would only make sense if Zoro did as well. And the final piece of evidence fans had was the fact that Zoro's dream is to become the greatest swordsman in the world, displaying the qualities of a king or a conqueror. And then finally, after almost a 10-year wait, this theory was proven to be true in chapter 1010. Number 2. Kaido can turn into a dragon. This theory started with Kinemon, when he said that he had a big vendetta over dragons for some reason, and people started theorizing that Kinemon and Momonosuke said this and reacted like this was due to their hatred of Kaido ruling over the land of Wano as a dragon. Another point of evidence fans pointed out was that Kaido is known as the king of the beasts, so he would have to be some sort of a beast himself, right? This theory was then confirmed in chapter 921, where Oda revealed Kaido's dragon form. Number 1. Kanjuro is a traitor. This theory started out when people started speculating that there was a traitor helping the beast pirates, and that's how Jack was able to find Zoe so easily, and how he knew that Raizo, for a fact, was there. But at the point in the story, people who believed in this theory couldn't pinpoint who it was, as they really didn't have too much information. But back in Wano, fans learned that the same traitor was leaking information to both Orochi and Kaido, and people thought that it was Dendro because there was just so much mystery shrouding his character. But most people who believed this theory suspected it to be Kanjuro because of how just useless he was. Fans went back and realized that this guy was so useless he was borderline sabotaging. But the most important piece of evidence fans had was the fact that in this manga panel, before the retainers were sent forward in time, Kanjuro had 2 birds above him, which he could have easily used to send information to Orochi. And finally in chapter 974 it was revealed that Kanjuro was indeed the traitor. And honestly, if you guessed this, you must be sort of genius, because I did not see this coming myself.